Greg Medford from Medford Knife, Main Street Knives, American Service Knife. How's it going? I think we already have comments popping in here. Uncle Greg, what's up, Playboy? That's pretty funny. I'm going to get my glasses. I forgot my glasses so that we can chitty chat and I can read your texts. Come into the house here. Of course. We'll talk to you guys about a couple things happening. Good fun. You guys are in the lair, in the dragon's lair. All right. Okay. Oh, sitting on the porch swing. So, let me go through and answer these questions. Uncle Greg, what's up, Playboy? Got my ASK in pocket with custom tie scales. Nice. One ghost. Where did you get the scales from? Trump Punisher Antic VHS next to me. VH, welcome to live chat. Okay. Howdy, Greg. What's going on, Mike? Can't wait to get my coin next week. And Greg, is it true that you're making a vibe? No. What's up? Got my VHS Crown of Thorns. Oh, Neurotic Knives. How do you like that? I thought that was so cool. I wanted to let you guys know, with Christmas fast approaching, we've never been in this situation before, but we have a bunch of, I know we do these custom things and you guys go crazy for the custom stuff and it's a lot of work doing those. Like the virtual holiday show is as much work as Blade Show getting ready for that, okay? What I was going to tell you is if you go to the website up at the top, now you'll see a spot for immediately available knives. These are knives you can get before Christmas. So if you've been thinking about somebody in your life that like has everything, there's something about not commoditized knives, but high-end knives. Man, like when you get one of those as a gift, it is a jaw dropper. So think about it. And they're immediately available, which is the weirdest thing. I've not had this situation before. So I personally, the knives that come available are knives that I order from the shop. It just says instead of a customer's name, it'll say Greg. And they're like overaged. I'm trying to sneak into the company so I have some extra stuff on hand. So we've got a bunch of extra stuff. A lot of people have their game face on. The best companies are still doing okay. The companies that have old infrastructure are hurting the most. We saw Ontario Knives fall last year, which was just kind of heartbreaking. And then, their intellectual property got bought up for basically inventory and a few other things. And then what happens to the talent? I don't know. And then I just found out this past week that CPM Crucible Metals that makes most of the steel I use to make knives, I don't know if they're listed up for sale or if they're some sort of 90-day warning. I don't know exactly what. I just heard from a bunch of people because when I had a few bucks a couple years ago, I was like, I'd like to buy CPM. I'd like to buy Crucible Metals. And I thought it would be a way to like diversify my holdings as a knife, maker, own the steel that's being made, own the company that's being made, and be a part of the whole knife industry, not just my little company, my little tiny company. And I thought that would be something that would be good. And if there was ownership that was very cutlery oriented, that means everything that was done there would be done towards the cutlery perspective. Anyways, I didn't have the money at the time, and I kind of reached out. I was like, hey, anybody possibly interested in selling? And I was, kind of thinking in that like $8 to $10 million range. And then I heard a number come back like 80 or $100 million, and I was like, what? And I know there's some updating to be done in their factory and stuff that I've heard over the years from a couple different sources. So when I heard about this, I was like a little crestfallen. I was like, ugh. So, and then of course, that tells you a story. That tells you a true story. Like, you want to know what's going on in the knife business? One of the knife centric steel processors of America is going out of business. So there'll be Carpenter in one other place that can make these steels, but the CPM stuff, I don't know what's going to happen to that because that's all proprietary. So CPM S35V and CPM 154, CPM 3V, CPM S90, S35, S45, um, uh, the MagnaCut, all of that stuff's proprietary. So, the best thing we can hope is that some other big steel company comes in, buys them, and puts 50 million into their infrastructure, updates their company. But that'll give you an idea what's going on in the knife world. Like, that's not Greg Medford. That's not this company or that company. That's like, I mean, how many knives do you see are made of CPM steels? And the maker of CPM steel is teetering on the edge of fire sale or Chapter 11. I mean, that's fucking holy shit. Anyway, I have a really nice brace of knives available. If you guys go to medforknife.com, anything you're thinking of for Christmas or for whatever other reason, I don't really have anything to bitch about. This has been the hardest 4 years I've ever had in my life. I will tell you that. Like, I'm not gonna bitch, but I'm not griping, but it's been the toughest 4 years of my adult life. That's for sure. Yeah, I don't know if knife makers are Crucible's core business. They do a lot of traditionally smelted steel also, but I mean, I think we're the core of the Crucible steel, which is the tight grain, uh, you know non traditionally sintered. I don't know what you call it. Um, it's been the toughest 4 years. This has been the toughest 4 years. This presidency. So we have the post-COVID hangover after there was just mad spending during COVID. Everybody was taking all of their entertainment budget and their car budget and their gas budget and their budget, and then they got some free money from the government. They took all the money and they just did retail therapy. And then when COVID ended, there's been a big hangover ever since, and it's affected the entire industry. When you hear people say, "Oh, it doesn't affect us," no, it did. Trust me. They're just got their game face on. It's affected everybody, and it's one of the reasons I came up with Main Street Knives. And it happened right while I was launching my American Service knife, which didn't help that project at all. So we've got SHOT Show coming up in January. We've got a couple of big distributor and retailer shows coming up, which we're going to be doing Main Street Knives for. And, I think that's going to be a big, I'm trying to build a four-legged table, right? Or maybe a four-wheeled race car. One of them is Medford Knives, my legacy brand. One of them is Main Street Knives, my kind of entry-level, super high-end entry-level brand. And then, maybe we've been talking about doing bespoke ASK for a while, so maybe ASK is going to take on a new kind of bespoke nature. I'm not totally sure. But, yeah, a lot of interesting things going on. And this current administration, the way they've handled the country and the uncertainty that's floated around and the interest rates, tickling up on 8%. I applied for I was going to put a pool in at my house, so I applied for a second, and it was 10.5%. I got pretty fucking good credit, and I was like, I can't pay 10.5% for money. That's crazy. So there's a pool that didn't get bought. That's a lot of money, and there's a lot of things like that that happen around the country. And I know you guys, everybody out there can afford these knives. You guys are all successful professionals at whatever you do. I know you guys know this, which is why I've been such an outspoken Trump supporter. Just because I saw when he was president how the economy, the American machine turned on. It was amazing. Anyway, I just got home. Sometimes you have work weeks where you're like a beast and you just, everything you do goes right. And you know, I handled everything right this week, but everything this week kicked my teeth in. I just had one of those fucking weeks where you're like, you know, some days you get the bear, some days the bear gets you. The bear got me this week. I am fucking whooped like a puppy right now. I don't know. I could tell you guys funny stories, and it would compromise my confidentiality I have around the business. But Jesus Christ, today was a fucking crazy day. So it's my day starts with this. Okay, so I get into the office, and I know I've got a meeting at 10:30 with a gentleman who owns 5 True Value Ace Hardware stores, and I really want to get in these stores, and they're like the ones I shop in around my neighborhood. Try to get. I'm trying to reach this guy for 3 years. So he says, "I'll meet you at the Tatum store 10:30 on Thursday." So Lindsay and I, we get Main Street Knives together, pictures of the new point of sale display cabinets, price list, everything already. We go over to his place and we pull up and he said, meet me at the Tatum store. So we go to the Tatum store. So we're at Tatum and Thunderbird, and we're like, it says Artie's. We're supposed to be going to Karsten's. Huh. So I call him up and he says, yeah, Tatum and Dynamite. I thought that was the Dynamite store. So I missed the meeting right out of the gate, to which I'm like, fuck. So Lindsay and I bounce up to the plaza where his Dynamite Tatum store is. We stop in and drink an ice water and grab a quick lunch. Kind of walked the store a little bit, and we had a meeting with them. Great. I get to the office, and it was just one, like half the company is out sick today. I'm like, half. And December is like the hardest month in manufacturing because nobody's buying in December mostly. They're buying retail. They're not buying from factories, you know. So everybody that are commercial ordering, they start doing again in January. And then December, you have as much payroll as any other month of the year. You have fewer paydays or work days to get work done because everybody's taking time off in the holiday time. And it's just, it adds up. You're like, holy shit. So today the bear got me. I am fucking clawed up. I got home. If I was a drinking man, I would definitely have a couple of scotches right now. I'm going to go to Desert Mountain and I'm going to play some trivia with some friends. And we've been the champs the last 3 years. The competition's getting a little stiff. Roxanne, my daughter, said she'd go with me, so she's going to go. It's going to be great. Let's take a look here and say hi to everybody. You can have a little Q&A with Uncle Greg right now. We'll do a little chitty chat, okay, you guys? Let's see what we got here. Not bringing the Viper back. Crown of Thorns, glad you love it. Tuned in from 29 Palms. Low Pro. CJ, what's up, man? You devil dog or what? Is that true? Crucible is going out of business. Hey, listen, I don't know like the legal situation. I don't know if they're in restructuring. I've heard numbers regarding selling and then 90-day notice of production. So like people are starting to try and source material from other places. So spooky. And then I have had some people reach out to me to be like, hey, are you interested in tendering an offer? And I'm like, about $10 million ago I was. Let's see, down here in Granite City Steel, they do the same crucible steels. Neurotic Knives, down here at Granite City Steel, they do the same. I'm sure they do crucible steels, but The recipes that everyone's familiar with those are proprietary names that can't be used by anybody else. Yeah, 90% of my collection is CPM. Yeah, mine too. Why don't you and a few other good knife makers get together and buy it? Honestly, I think it has old infrastructure. I think not only does it need some $10 million purchase or whatever the number is, but I think it needs another 40, 50 million in infrastructure. I doubt crucible knife makers. They're a big part of it, my friend. Daddy Fat Sack. Merry Christmas season. Big, I don't know, bog companies use Chapter 11 to get out of paying huge interest debt and just get time to pay what they actually owe. Just the Mo, you know more about bankruptcy than I do, but they're in some sort of, I don't think they're in restructure. I don't think they've declared bankruptcy. I think they've either offered themselves up for sale or said when their production's going to cease. I don't know what the deal is. Did that shipment of parts? Johnny, uh, Johnny Casada, yes. So UPS lost hundreds of parts in one shipment. Now, guys, it's like 110 knives worth of parts. I mean, it's a big loss. And 3 months later, they showed up like they were just, oh, got a package for you. So unbelievable. You can retool for the defense industry and become solvent again. Yeah, not so. It's not that easy. Your head reflects light. Yes, Bio 74. Keep your chin up. I am. Thank you. Tomorrow's a new day, brother. Yep. Um, Give up the funnies. Yeah, I can't. It's hard to sell. It's hard selling Labor Day and December too, especially people taking their last vacation day. It's a bitch. Yeah. Man, Timmy's the best time. Hey, Greg, Merry Christmas. You making anything for Strider? No. Apparently, the wife doesn't like me, and because the wife doesn't like me, we don't do business anymore. Oh well. Not the first wife to not like me. Let me see. I feel this so much. December has been one hell of a shit show. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. Yeah, so I know that people are going to ask you about this. So we did a project for Strider and went to pay them the license fee that we agreed to pay them. Long story, but we sent them the check, and apparently the check was sitting in their shipping and receiving for like a week. And Mick's ex-wife was like firing shots across our bow, like, didn't we send the check? Prove we sent the check. And then my ex-wife was getting her hackles up, and then I overreacted, being defensive for her, and I lashed out and said, hey, the fucking check's sitting on your counter. No wonder you fucking got a divorce. What a pain in the ass broad that must be. Best of luck to you, Mick. And so that goes floating around. I didn't know she was still running the business with him, so she reads that email for me. And then, of course, she's like, and then I'm like, hey, Marissa, I'm really sorry. Like, I bit back way harder than I should have. That wasn't cool. But apparently she just does not like my ass. And you know, what can I do? I'm not for everybody. I'm an acquired taste, I hear. But, you know, it's like easy money, so it doesn't make sense. But, you know, there's a lot of things that don't make sense in the knife business. Got my Genesis Fallout yesterday. Hope you dig that. Yeah, I love that Fallout finish. Living paycheck to paycheck, yet still going to Christmas myself with a scorched earth Medford. Love you from SoCal. No. All right, Medhead, thanks. Boy, the OTF fires hard and worth the wait. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Sipping. What's the lead time on Mercury's? Mercs. Oh, the lead times, they are, the honest answer is I can't tell you because we had a debacle with the OTF. The OTF, I had someone in charge of the OTF, and so I draw up this design, and I know my initial concept is just a starting place. And then I pay this person top dollar to kind of work through the challenges. And of course, along the way, I don't just micromanage everything. I'm like, look, anything you see a creative solution for, boom, propose. And then when they hit the wall, and they hit the wall maybe 10 times and said, yeah, this is not going to work because of X, Y, Z. And I go, how about we try that? And they kind of scratch their head and go, well, maybe that'll work. So, it's kind of a collaborative problem solving project to get to the end of that. And when you go on the inside of that knife, it's different than anybody else's. Like, it is. And for a variety of reasons. Because I didn't want to just do a knockoff like everybody does. I want to do my own thing. So the person who was in charge of the project basically thought it kind of has a little issue. And their issue is they think they're the smartest person in the room all the time, that everybody else is dumb or incompetent. And if you say that to them, they go, oh, I don't think that. But that's how they act. So nobody's smart enough to put them together. Nobody's smart enough to make them. Nobody's good enough to machine them. Nobody this, nobody that. And, oh, you're not going to be able to do this because you got to do that. And they're not smart enough to do that. And they can't do this. And these have to be perfect. And I think the last 18 of the proof strikes are out, and we are already delivering on the production version of the knife. So that person decided to chew my ass out in front of the team and basically tell me, basically ream my ass in front of everybody that I don't know what's going on. And then I said, okay, well, I've been telling you for 9 months to hand this project off to the team, and you won't. So why don't you go back over to your workstation, see me at the end of the day? And at the end of the day, they walked into my office and sat down with mucho attitude. And I said, hey, how do we move forward from here? And they said, what do you mean? Like all the attitude in the world. And I was like, okay, after what just happened, our time has ended. Let me walk you out of the building. And so we basically went to the drawing board with no notes in a sloppy workspace with prototype parts mixed in with production parts and all sorts of weird shit going on. I mean, if you'd have seen the mess, the disaster around the workspace, you would know why this person wasn't able to accomplish what I'd asked. So within 60 days, it took us to basically go through and redo the whole project and get it up to speed. And now those knives are really, really nice. And they were okay before, but it was one person coveting it. They didn't want anyone else to know the job. They weren't showing anyone else how to do anything because we're all too stupid. In the meantime, we got it all figured out, and they're better than they were before even. The actions are better. We've learned some tricks because my guys who assemble knives are really good knife makers. And a good machinist does not a knife maker make necessarily, okay? So we're really, we're making a lot of them now, and they're beautiful, and they take about an hour to put together the first time. I mean, I wish they didn't, but that's what they do right now, and we're delivering those at a pretty feverish rate. So we have a pretty good little back order of those, and we're cranking through those right now, and then you'll start to see those pop up in inventory around the country. So I'm excited about that. And the knife is just awesome. I carried mine stock for about a year, never had a problem, never had a malfunction. And then I had it kind of redone the way we do it now. And it's just better. I'm like, fuck. So I'm enjoying it. And it's really an increment of subtle things. You know what I mean? Very subtle increments. It's a quality of very subtle increments, I meant to say. All right, let me answer a few more questions, and I'm going to jump off and let you guys back to it. See, what is the lead time on the Mercs? So I'm not exactly sure what the lead time on the Mercs is right now, but I'm going to guess 6 months or less. I'll laugh at my ass off. Have you ever been Verjazzled? I don't know what Verjazzled is. Greg, do you have an update on the Main Street series? Main Street series, I have exactly 3,000 currently in production. I have 3,000 of those knives being made. I've sold a very small number of those, and those are going to start going out to dealers soon and be available to the public. I mean, like April, there are going to be hundreds of those available. So I have the black card knife all designed now. We have a couple of team decisions to make about the final iteration of that, but like the nuts and bolts, that design is done, and it's one of my sexiest designs ever. Let's see. I see the OTF in my purchase history in a couple weeks. Yeah, the OTF. Oh man, it's gotten better. You know, we sent one out. Oh my God, we sent one out to a magazine. You guys will love this. A magazine wants to do a review on it, so we send it to a magazine, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but somebody in assembly decided it wasn't fitting tight, so just tighten it down tighter, and they were stripping them out. So that one of those knives went to a magazine. He immediately had some firing problems. He was kind of limp thumbing it, real humid where he was at. It had been raining. Some of the break-in dust was gumming up a little bit. Talked him through a clean and blow on that, how to clean it and blow it out. And then as soon as that happened, the clip fell off because the pin broke off because it was stripped. And I was like, oh my fucking God. Chris Reeves said one of the best things to me ever about knives. He says, Greg, knives are like children in motorcycles. Just when everything's perfect, when everything's going perfectly, blink and they embarrass you. It's like, yep, that's actually true. Let's see. Good. Get paid. Get paid off. No, it hasn't paid off yet. There's the update on the Main Street. Nothing to share besides everyone have a good weekend. And I came out. Oh, John. Oh, the new locking system. So I have a few more projects to get through, the last of which is the black card, because I just did 18 new knives, all the engineering, all the design work for those. And then now we're gonna get back to some of my new projects. So the SOG project that I did, that I ended up keeping for myself, that's a new mechanism. So we have got to make sure we can actually make that work. I think we can, but that's gonna be pretty cool. Hopefully you guys will like it. All right, got a link to a site. Yeah, medfordknife.com. And then don't use Main Street Knives yet. That site is it's not ready yet. So just go to medfordknife.com. You can find the Main Street stuff there and buy anything you want to buy there. Okay? All right, guys, that's it. I'm going to go play some trivia, enjoy my evening, make dinner, and hang out with my daughter a little bit. I'm excited to see Roxanne, spend some time with her, and see how that big brain of hers helps us win. All right, you guys, I am out. Merry Christmas to all you savages.